Man, I can tell you, I've been stressing. Well, not really. I haven't been stressing. I actually been pretty happy, but I've been working. Getting back into like the feel, you know, of doing videos like every day, and now doing the website. There's a nice like feel to it, I guess. You know, I'm finally like in like a routine. So live streams like this is kind of like extra. So I said, well, I'll do one extra one because truth be told, I only supposed to do one really after fights on Saturday nights. But I say I'll squeeze in one or two here or there, you know. So since I'm up late anyway, you know, there's always something that's got to be done, especially when you're doing all the things that I'm doing. There's always something that's got to be done. So I said, let me squeeze in a live stream because I don't have to be anywhere tomorrow or today or every day's like the same. So why am I not wearing the Fight View 360 hoodies? Because they're folded right now. And I like for them to be folded. It's kind of weird, but I like for them to be like folded and like pressed in the middle of other hoodies. So then after I finish washing them and I unfold them, they have like that the crease to make them look fresh. But I got some new stuff coming. So my little process is like a 2-day process. I've been doing it. I have a lot of hoodies. I have a lot of hoodies. So instead of buying like the Jordan hoodies, and those things are 75, I started getting them for 65, but that was after I kept going to the same dude, which was right around the corner, the same Sneaker Villa, which was right around the corner. So but now, I got all these Nike and Jordan hoodies and sweatsuits. I literally got probably maybe 15, 20 like Nike Jordan hoodies, shit like that. And got how many hats. I have so many that are like the same color. But yeah, man, it's a lot going on. I've been talking boxing all week, as you can see. We're putting out the goal is 3 videos a day, 6 days a week. So anything after 3 is extra, And the only reason why it's that is because I said I'm not going to jump back into it, putting out 40, 50 videos like I used to do before. I said, all right, because now I have to run a website and I have to keep that active. And also I have to do, YouTube videos, which is the bread and butter, while handling my own personal life responsibilities, and make sure, that I'm no longer losing money because I've been losing money for a good 2 years now, so it's time to start, getting this shit popping. So, of course, as you know, Brook and Errol Spence faced off, and the goal of the channel is, as I said before, I think I told you, I'll keep it brief. Going to fights, I don't like, it's not that, okay, how can I put it? Because I don't want to sound ungrateful. It's not that I don't like going to fights. It's just that I'm not amused or I don't get starstruck by the event. Also, I've realized that I can do more damage from not going to fights than going to fights and events. So the goal is to send people to fights and to send people to events where I'll be able to do my videos and be able to coach them and get the exclusive content while I'm here putting everything all together. It makes more sense for me to be able to do all this instead of being at the events myself. So that's what we're working on. So that's why, when it comes to anything we talk about in our videos before, I would have to go to other people to be able to get the innovation. Well, such that this is the press conference and yada, yada, yada. But now the goal is to get to a point, and I've built the foundation to get to the point where the information doesn't have to come through nobody else, but it comes directly through us, and then I get to talk about it, if that makes sense. I don't want to confuse myself. So in this case, since, shout out to the newest member of Fight View 360, Karen Habden. I'm fucking your name up, bro. Sorry, we're going to get there. But he did some good work at the press conference. And as I said, to all the people that I said I was going to reach out to, or if I sent you that brief email where I said, thank you for responding, I'll be getting back to you soon. Understand that, like as time goes on, I'm going to be getting to each in every one of you. But you understand, my bad. You got to understand, like there's a lot on my plate. You see what I'm saying? So the goal is to get people to, all these different, fights, but to do it, without killing myself, you know, and to have everything in a system so that we're training people the right way, I guess. So a lot of shit on my plate. I'm just trying to make sure I do that shit all right. I'm living in a good, I'm feeling good every day. Things is going good in life. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy. So, I look at it like this, man. I like Errol Spence. Okay, well, if you don't know, the trainers, Dominic Engel, who's the trainer of Kell Brook, and the trainer of Errol Spence. What is Errol Spence? Errol Spence is 21-0 with 15 KOs or 22-0. Anyway, they started going at each other about the resumes. Now, as you understand, both of these guys really don't have much on their resumes, but when you look at the biggest win of Errol Spence's career, can you say it's Chris Algieri? You can say it's Chris Algieri, and you can also say, well, Amir Khan couldn't knock him out, and Pacquiao couldn't knock him out, even though Pacquiao knocked him down 6 times, but Errol Spence did. You can't put that feather in his hat. But can you really count Leonard Bundu, 40-year-old Leonard Bundu, even though, Keith Thurman couldn't stop him? It all depends on how you look at it. But when you look at Kell Brook's resume, ain't nothing there either. And when you look at, I did the math. And when I say I was horrified, I mean, I've always heard about it and I've always knew about it. But when you actually have to sit there and tally up all the losses of Kell Brook's first 21 or 25 opponents, and when you realize you've got through like the first 10, no more than 10, you're already at 400 something, 500 something defeats. Now remember, this is boxing, right? He fought somebody who was at 100. Now I understand what you're going to say. I've been hearing it. People have been saying shit like, well, understand that the UK is smaller than the United States, so it's not that much talent and all this shit, man. I've been hearing it all. But I'm just saying, like he was going, I don't want to, we got to go look at it. I think this is the only way to sell this. Now, I'm not coming at Kell Brook. I like Kell Brook as a fighter. We're going to talk about it. But listen, we got to look at the numbers, man. We got to look at the numbers, man. And it's not right. It got to the point where I'm trying not to laugh now. I'm trying not to laugh now. Hold it in. Keep it together. Keep it together, Terrell. Keep it together because this shit gets ugly. Keep it together. I hope you guys can see this, man. His first fight, Peter Buckley. You can say, okay, it's his first fight. He's going to get somebody with so much experience. Look, this is 240 fights of experience. He's got 189 defeats, right? 31 wins, 10 losses. You're like, okay, well, let's put Kell Brook in there against Peter Buckley, right? Peter Buckley only won one more fight after losing to Kell Brook. And you know what? These 12 controversial decisions, it's the controversy. But you can say, all right, man, it's just his first fight, man. Go up, Brian Coleman, 24-139. Oh, man. And then you think, it starts getting a little better, 11-80. But then you think like, yo, I'm Ernie Smith. Oh, man. Oh, he fought a trilogy with Ernie Smith. Is Ernie Smith the one who died? No disrespect. But no, this is. I hope Ernie Smith is not the one, but I'm laughing at he fought a trilogy with Ernie Smith. Can I get this on? Can I get this on VHS? You know that big ass cardboard box with the three. Can I get that on VHS? Can I get this shipped? Where's the footage? I want to see this footage. Ernie Smith. He would, and somehow Damn, Ernie Smith. Damn, it was him. See, I've looked at all this before. He died in 2010. Damn, Ernie Smith. And it's like, I don't even want to believe. I mean, I want to believe that it's like from this. It's like, why are these fighters losing these many fights? All this head trauma. And then up comes along Kell Brook to beat you up. Like poor old Duncan Coutier. Okay. You know what? Listen, we can be here. I can be here all day doing this shit, man. I can be here all day doing this shit, man. You know, don't get me started. Don't get me started. So I'm thinking, like, even though, like, who has really, like, fought the better fighters? You know? Errol Spence fighters. Now let's go look at let's go look at it. And I could, like I said, I've heard all the shit, man. I've heard all the shit about, well, you know, there wasn't that much talent for Kell Brook out there, so he was taking all the fights that was being thrown. I've heard all of this shit. All right, I heard it all. You know, I've heard it all. But at least, you know, he's fighting guys that are like, you know, amateurish level-ish on his level-ish. You know, you got a 16-4 right here, an 11-3, a 15-0-1. Is this the guy who hurt him? I think that's that guy who hurt him. Was a Fox Sports fight. You know, I mean, these guys have got some positive records. He's fought all five outside his 0-1 guy. You know, but he's got, you know, when you look at, you know, he's got let me see fighters that we know of, right? We know of Samuel Vargas because he just fought Danny Garcia. We know about that. We know of Philip Greco. Well, I know of Philip Greco because he fought him. We know of Chris Van Herden, who's been you know, he sparred with Conor McGregor and said Conor McGregor basically wasn't shit. Chris Algieri, we know that he went just bulldoze through Chris Algieri and then Leonard Bundu. You know, but if you look at Kell Brook, what are the credible names you see? Now he's 36-1 with 25 KOs. Of course, there's that defeat. You can't, you know, just like Derek James, the trainer of Errol Spence said, is like, look, y'all keep glorifying this defeat. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. It's like no matter what, he still lost. You know. So it's like, you know, you can say, okay, well, he still fought Golovkin. I understand you can say that, but if you look, Kevin Biziane, Frankie Gavin, Jojo Dan, and then you got Sean Porter. You got Wojciech Sachenko, Carlson Jones. Now the fights that I count as significant fights, in my opinion, are these two Carlson Jones fights. Sachenko, Sean Porter, and then none of these really didn't matter for shit. You know, these three didn't matter for nothing. Of course, yes, future mandatories. These were IBFs. Two of these were IBFs. You know, but, you know, still. So now Eddie Hearn is saying like all the fights going forward has to be at big money fights at 147 because guys like Errol De Lara, you know, and the Charlos are not marquee names. You know, and I can understand that. So Kell Brook is pretty much saying, well, you know, I'm going to stay at 147 because even win or loss, he still has hopes to get that Pacquiao, you know, or Amir Khan fight, you know. So they're trying to keep him on the money path, but at the same time, you got to give him credit for not dropping his belt because he could have went from to 154. But, you know, they after that money. You know, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It's hard, man. But looking at that resume, yo, can you really – okay, it's like this, right? People are saying Errol Spence is just going to run through Kell Brook, but – how? You know, how? Now, we know that he has a chin. Even though Golovkin was knocking him all around the ring and broke his eye socket, still, those were punches coming from a 160-pounder. So, those are things you got to factor in. Yeah, that's some fucked up records, man. Those some fucked up. That's just going to keep starting, huh? That's what we're going to do. We're going to keep starting, huh? Let's go back to the front menu. There we go. Right there. Anyway, so yeah, Errol Spence also said that he kind of looks at this as being like an unofficial tournament. But wait a minute, this is what we're here for. That's what I have all this shit for. It's so you can be able to listen to the shit. That's the whole point of the show. So there for the people who didn't get a chance to listen to it, can listen to it. And I can do like other shit in the background. By the way, I'm Teacher Controversy. This is Teacher Controversy Live. How you guys like my website, man? You know, I really value you guys' opinions. Even the ones who told me I was never going to get it done. How you like it? I want to, like, the goal is, obviously, you know, I'm new at the shit. You know, but as time goes on, like, we have a format. You know, we want everything that you get from the website. You know, here, let's go take a little look around. Let's go take a little look around real quick. Let's go take a little look around. Let's go take a little gander. All right? So it's the website. So basically what we want to do is we want to make sure that when you go to the website, you're getting all the information that you need. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, you got the face off. You see what I'm saying? Then, of course, if you click the boxers, you get their resumes, right? What else? You know, information, Twitter tweets. Let's see. We put promos in. You know, you click any photos. Not all of them, but we're getting there. Did I do this one yet? No, I didn't do this one yet. But normally it leads to you know, like information. So yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. As you can see, we got the boxing schedule. As time goes on, you're going to see the format get you're going to see the format get like a little more, what is it, slick or sleeker, I guess. You know, the rankings, obviously, I'm behind, but, you know, I'm making sure that they're updated. See, I'll explain it one more time. You can't update them all at once because the WBC may put their rankings out on the 15th. WBA may put theirs out on the 2nd. The IBF the 22nd, and so on with the WBL. They all don't have a set date, and they're all different every month. So you want to wait till they're all out, so they're corresponding with each other, you know, for wins and losses with champions before you actually update them. So that's usually sometime between like I would say 20th, from what I've been researching over the last year or so, like looking at their activity and, you know, like patterns and shit, between the 20th and like sometimes even the 27th of the month. You know, so I'm going to get to that. So yeah, you know, we got, you know, that's just a quick little look around the website. But yeah, what we were doing was we were going to listen to the little beef with the train, not the little beef, but the beef with the trainers. You know, it was kind of significant. Do it that way. I love Samsung, man. Samsung is awesome.
We want to change. Let's start talking about playing golf. So there's no consolation prizes in boxing. So when you keep talking about a fight that he did get after, that's giving him a consolation.
He said Golovkin.
But Leonard moved up to fight Marlon Handler and beat him. Leonard moved up to fight Donald and beat him. He was talking about that. That's not talking about if y'all give him a victory for taking the fight, give him a victory for getting stopped in the fight, the reality of it is he did not win the fight. So nobody ever talks about the fights that they lose. So let's not talk about the fight that he lost. He's in a bigger fight now than he had been. Just because that guy was a bigger guy means nothing. He was slow, he had slow feet, And you basically can draw comparisons to the Bundu when Kell was a 40-year-old as being a custom fighter. You can draw comparisons all day long. It makes a difference. You can win again, you can lose against a good guy, and you can be a rubbish guy. It's the same. It's the same. So Leonard Bundu, we can take nothing from it. People raving about that victory, but it doesn't mean anything. I have nothing. But I have. But what I'm saying is, we're not talking about Brook, we're talking about Kell, Brook. Spence, that's all we need to talk about. We don't need to waste time. We've talked about that fight with Triple G. He quit in the fight with Triple G. The fight was over. He didn't say, no, don't stop the fight. No, he didn't quit. I stopped the fight. I know the fight. Maybe I did. I need to realize, Spence was going to get his chance. Spence was going to get his chance to take his belt. Might be well. That's what happens when I get my hands on you, bro. No, chocolate. What is the chocolate brand? What is it? What happened? Chocolate brand. Your name is that? That's so lame. Chocolate brand. Do you get 20 points for that? We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, all right. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Yeah, they're gonna say, look, you want to talk, you know, I'm not going to go away. Not this. Understand that, yeah? You're playing. We're gonna see.
You better watch your house. Look what happens when I get my hands on you, bro.
We're still talking about Golovkin. We just move on. We're going on that one. No, sure, you have to keep that. All right. You had two good rounds with Triple G. Wow. When you were wrong, did the same thing. Did the same thing. You had two good rounds with Triple G. You hyped out there. You're living out there. Let's see. How long you been pro? The difference is, how long you been pro? Brook finished on his feet and Monroe. How long you been pro? You only fought two fighters since you been pro. Sean Porter and who? And Triple G. That's it. How long you been pro? And how long I been pro? What's your record? What's your record? What you actually bought? Your first 25 fights. On the first 25 fights, what was your pound wins? On these 25 pound wins and first 25 fights. Who's the best guy you box? Who's the best guy you box? Anybody tell us that you box? 874 loss. Who's the best guy you box, Errol? Who is it? Tell me the best guy you think you box. Who is the best guy? Chris, right, that's your best guy. That's your best guy. Our best guy, our best guy, apart from Golovkin, in the fight that we won with Sean Porter. That's our best guy. Right, and you beat Chris Algieri. Chris Algieri, 10 stone, light welterweight guy. I get props for that. So that's it. Exactly. So the best guy you box is Chris Algieri. The best guy we box and won is Sean Porter. That's it. That's the comparison. So the best can make the mind up. You can make the mind up. We already know. The best guy we lost to was Golovkin. Fair enough, you ever hit. But the best guy we beat was Sean Porter, which is still 10 times better than Chris Algieri. Well, listen, Sean Porter. We're definitely gonna find out. Took you long enough. Took you long enough. Alright, we're gonna see. Nobody small guys. Come on now. That means nothing. Oh, see. Mike Tyson was a killer who wanted to box up. Wasn't he? We're not thinking of moving to we're just talking about this on welterweight. What I'm talking about, when you show your muscle like that, muscle means nothing. You can't put muscle on your chin. This is not a flex. You can't put muscle on your chin. You can't do that. I know you can't. I know you can't. Listen, we like the fact that you can fight, that you are a good fighter. It means nothing to beat somebody who can't fight. It means something. Errol's had plenty of experience of that, like you said. He's like, I need to fight for like that, and he's fighting.
Okay, so let's digest that shit a little bit. Okay, as they said, Kell Brook's biggest win is Sean Porter. Errol Spence's biggest win is Chris Algieri. Kell Brook is 30. Errol Spence is surprisingly 27. So if you look at it, two different. I feel that Kell Brook beat the tougher fight, right? He beat the tougher fight. Could Kell Brook stop Chris Algier? Yeah, he could. Would he though? You know. So I'm hyped for the fight. If you don't know, it's going to be on May the 27th. It's going to be in a stadium that's going to seat like 28,000 or something like that. It's going to be a very, very big event. We already got our foot in the door. We already, planning and making sure we're doing everything meticulously to make sure we get to the event. What's this? It's in Super Chan. I don't know what that is. I done fuck some shit up. All right. The winner, as Errol Spence said, he feels it's like an unofficial tournament. You have Thurman versus Garcia that will likely happen again. And then if that fight doesn't happen, the WBA is already saying that they're going to order a new WBA world champion, thanks to Shane Mosley, long story, Lamont Peterson to fight Keith Thurman. Even though that would be somewhat of a good fight, it's looking like Thurman versus Garcia 2 is in the works. So the winner of that, a lot of fans want to see versus Errol Spence. But if Errol Spence wins, I don't see Al Haymon just putting him straight in a unification fight. He's probably going to have one, maybe two. They'll probably just try to squeeze out two, volunteers before he go into a big fight, because we're in the era where PBC fighters can't be babied anymore because there's not enough networks for them to go around, and they all got to fight each other to put on the big numbers to make up for all the money Al Haymon's been spending over these last several years. So, if Kell Brook wins, the options are out there for him. There's already talks of him fighting Pacquiao in the fall in unification. So he's got big money fights already lined up, including, that big money fight that's out there still with Khan, especially since Khan is not fighting Pacquiao. So he's got big money fights set up. And even in the loss, Kell Brook can fight like a Danny Garcia, or Sean Porter in a rematch, or a winner of Porter versus Berto, and start setting him up for a title shot. But as Eddie Hearn said, Eddie Hearn is somewhat right. He said in an interview that we have here on the channel that Kell Brook has a plan to only fight for about 6 more fights. So all the fights have to be big fights, and fights with Aries Lindy Lara or the Charlo brothers or Jared Swift Hurd at 154, even though there will be a title right there or titles up there, they're just not big money fights. Because when you get a guy like Kell Brook over there in the UK, just like they're doing with Anthony Joshua, and I noticed Eddie Hearn's promotional pattern is he tries to keep them at that pay-per-view, like level, or just teetering right above that line between Sky Sports box office and the regular Sky Sports Saturday night cards that they have. So right now, all the fights that Kell Brook has to have, as far as his marketing plan, has to be big fights. And bringing Errol Spence over there was the only way it would be a big fight. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people over in the UK say they don't feel like it's a big fight, but globally it is. Especially the fact that it's a real big test for Kell Brook's career. And he's not dropping his belt. So you got to give him props for that. And he's not dropping his belt. So, pay-per-view over there. What's next on the list, man? We might as well talk about it since nobody really is talking about it. Jorge Linares versus Anthony Crolla. I know people have been coming at my neck for years now, saying it's not Corolla, it's Crolla, like Crolla, LA. It's Crolla. I'm not saying it's just, the accent, So, put it this way. I'm quietly getting hyped for the fight because, if you don't know, Anthony Crolla is this somewhat seasoned UK domestic level fighter that's not like a world-class fighter, but he has a lot of heart, and his heart is what's got him here today. How is he really getting a rematch? I really don't, really know, because he did lose, but at the same time, they found some money to be able to put a rematch on, and it's happening. And then with Jorge Linares, we know Jorge Linares' chin is suspect. 3 losses, 3 stoppages, all fights he was winning, except that brutal early knockout. Too early to tell. So a guy like Anthony Crolla can beat him, but will it? But the real big news is this is a unification fight, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Meaning that this guy, Linares, remember he was supposed to be good, before Antonio DeMarco. Remember, Antonio DeMarco had beat him, right, in a fight where he was losing at first. Antonio DeMarco busted his face all up, then stopped him late, blood streaming down his face. And then 3 fights later, Antonio DeMarco fought Adrian Broner for that same WBC title. So in a way, Linares and Broner was on a collision path back then. That's how far and long ago Linares was supposed to be really good. But then just so happened after DeMarco on his next comeback, he gets stopped again. But the thing is, that was about, 5 years ago. So he's been winning against real lower level competition. And it's like now he's the WBC Diamond Champion, which is the championship that's technically over the one that Mikey Garcia has. And he's the WBA champion, the only WBA champion at 135. So basically he has 2 belts, and the winner is supposed to fight Mikey Garcia, or it's supposed to be mandatory to fight Mikey Garcia, unless Mikey Garcia goes another route. But how do you fight another fight or unification outside of the title unification that you're already split? It's a weird. This shit is weird, man. This belt shit is weird. I get pissed off thinking about it. I get pissed, man. But yeah, I'm excited for the fight just because of the I guess the politics behind it, I guess. So I'm gonna watch it, I mean, it's my fucking job. I'm actually enjoying watching these fights now. I got a nice little sleeping pattern and everything. Even though I did pull like a 27-hour this past weekend and the weekend before, but for the most part, I'm getting like good sleep. Who do I have for the fight? I have Linares. And then that's when some real promotional political fun is going to begin. Because let's go look, right? Let's go look. Hold on. Another thing, my rankings are going to get better as they go on, meaning the format of them. But let's go take a look here. So you have Jorge Linares, who's the WBC Diamond Champion. You have Mikey Garcia, who's the WBC, regular WBC champion by beating the James Takane. You have Jorge Linares, who's also the WBA. Then you have Robert Easter and Terry Flanagan. If Anthony Crolla wins, there's heavy talk of him fighting Terry Flanagan. But which route will either of these guys take? See, Flanagan's fight at Peter Petrov. This is actually a very good fight. I'm going to be covering this fight. I'm going to put out a video before the fight on this fight. But you have these two, Mikey Garcia and Linares, who have to fight each other unless Linares fights Robert Easter or Terry Flanagan. So it's a very, very weird situation. But basically, Linares is in no situation to fight anyone else. Like none of these bullshit fights. I'm not saying they're bullshit, but he can't fight a Ray Beltran. He can't fight a Luke Campbell. He can't fight even Ivan Redkach, even though he shouldn't be ranked this high, but he's in the rankings. He can't fight none of these guys. So it has to be either Robert Easter, Terry Flanagan, or Mikey Garcia. The same thing for Anthony Crolla. But here's the thing. Jorge Linares is Golden Boy Zanford Promotions, and Mikey Garcia is fighting on Heyman cards. And then you have Terry Flanagan, who's Frank Warren, but Anthony Crolla, right here, who's ranked, right here, who's ranked. He's Eddie Hearn. So Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren don't really work together like that. Well, they don't. They haven't been working together, especially for a fight of that magnitude with BT Sports in Box Nation, and then over here you got them with Sky Sports. You know, so and then you have Linares, who's with Golden Boy and Mikey Garcia. You know, it's just a lot of political bullshit, as you can see, man. It's a lot of political bullshit, man. It's a lot of political bullshit, man. That's our sport, man. It's our sport. It's our sport. But people are like, nah, I don't want to work with you, so I'm gonna sign with this network, knowing that you signed with that network. So if we both sign to these networks, then our fighters are signed to these networks. So now for the fighters to fight each other, the networks have to work together. But if the fight's not big enough, the networks don't give a fuck about talking to each other. You know, all this corporate hanky panky, it's corporate network hanky panky. That's what it is. It's corporate network fat cat hanky panky. But yeah, I'm kind of hyped for the fight. You know, there's no like, what is that? I gotta put that out. You know, I'm hyped for the fight. There's no real fights on this weekend. You know, with some fights on tonight. Before we move on to Golovkin versus Jacobs and those pay-per-view numbers, there were some fights on tonight. It was ESPN. It was Golden Boy's ESPN card. It's their first ESPN card where it's Golden Boy on ESPN, even though it's technically Friday Night Fights again. Except it's not PBC on ESPN or ESPN Friday Night Fights. It's Golden Boy on ESPN, but it's really Friday Night Fights. You see what I'm saying? Same shit. Same shit. But yeah, you know, the main event was all right, man. You got this prospect. He's very getting close to a fringe contender, not because of him being good, because the way they're building him up, but you know, he's not that good, man. Jason Quigley, I don't think he's that good, man. I don't think Jason Quigley's that good. He fought Glenn Tapia. Remember Glenn Tapia from the David Lemieux fight, and from the James Kirkland fight. He's only 27 years old, and right now they're already talking about him, you know, retiring. He's taken some beatings in his career so far. He didn't look good either. I mean, he lost the fight, yeah, but it's just like, you know, this was supposed to be kind of like a step-up showcase for Jason Quigley, but he just didn't look good, you know. And I've seen several fights of his in the past on his little underling cards, and he still hasn't looked good. And it's like, will he ever look good? I don't think he's going to be ready, you know, for world class. I'm sorry. I'm looking. I'm thinking, what can he possibly work on? Does he really have any skills to compete? Like kind of like Zar Shabrinsky, or Vojislav Shabrinsky. Kind of like the same way a little bit. Another Golden Boy fight that he was building up. He was getting close to a world title shot. What is he doing up there? So it all depends on how you look at it, man. It all depends on how you look at it. But yeah, the Golden Boy cards are going to be like every week now, or every other week. I know they're going to be a lot of cards. I do know that. And basically, it's going to be a showcase for like their younger fighters, you know, because they do have a lot of young prospects. So it's going to be like for them. So before we go on into these Golovkin versus Jacobs numbers, let me take my little last break because I don't want this video. Let me see. We played 15 minutes of music, so I want this video to be an hour long. So we got to stop at, yeah. All right, yeah, so let's wrap this video up. Let me turn that off. So as I said, I'm back full time. We're pumping out, you know, about 30 plus videos a week, about 30 videos or so a week. The word is officially coming out. This is coming from the promoter that Golovkin Jacobs has did 153,000 pay-per-view buys. It all depends on how you look at it. If you want to say like it's bad or not, you know, that's the way I look at it. It all depends on how you look at it. If you want to say it's a bad number. If you look at Golovkin was rumored to make 2.5 million, and Danny Jacob. Let's just do a little bit of just random ass math here. There's a little bit of simple. Let's do a little bit of simple math, right? So the pay-per-view. Let's just do some simple. Now remember, we're doing simple math. The pay-per-view was $64.99 in HD. I mean, who's not buying an HD, right? Who's buying, you know, are you still using a, what is it, coaxial cable or some shit? You still using the audio video cables, no composite or no HDMI or something? But let's just say everybody bought it in high definition. It was $64.99 in high definition times 153,000. That's just a simple ass math, right? That's 9,943,000. So let's just round that off. Let's just say that's just 10. Let's say that's 10. Let's say that's 10 million right there, right? Let's say that's 10 million. Let's say you put in ticket sales. Let's say, I mean, I don't, you know, I forgot how to, you know, simply do those ticket sales. But let's say you add another 2 to 3 million. Let's say 3 million ticket sales. So let's say 10 million in revenue from pay-per-view, just simple as math, you know, and 3 million in ticket sales. You got 13 million right there. You know, you got Danny Jacobs, who's rumored to make you got Golovkin, who's rumored to make 2.5. You got Danny Jacobs, who's rumored to make 1.75. Then you factor in the cost of HBO, which I forgot what they said it was. I forgot the percentage. Bob Behrman said it. I gotta look it up again. Was it like 6 or 7% or something like that? You also have to factor in the production costs and all that shit. You know, how do you really determine, you know, like how much of a pay-per-view is like really, really profitable with all those costs of everything, you know? So that's what I really wanna learn. But if you look at 153 for a fight that it seems to us hardcore fans, there was the buzz, but also pirating and streaming is just destroying the sport. And as technology is getting better, the streaming is getting better. They got to do something about it. But what can they do? You may not know it or you may not understand it, but you'd be surprised how many people are streaming fights. The numbers staggering. The numbers just, you know, people say they're buying the fights, but are they really buying the fights? Understand that I take that shit seriously. I'm passionate about that. I buy the fights because I make money off of the fights. I have the money to buy the fights. If you make money off these fights, you need to buy the fights. And if you call yourself a boxing fan and you want to be one of them people who want to talk about the numbers and what boxers should or should not be making, because you should, it's prize fighting. Buy the fights. Just saying, man. Just saying, man. Just saying. So, got to figure it out, man. But people say, why wasn't this fight on free TV or why was it on, you know, regular HBO Showtime? Because with the money, you know, it's a lot of math involved. With the money, you know, with a fighter that has to make with basically almost 5 million or 4.5 in purses, you know, over 4 million in purses that can't be on TV. It just can't unless it's on free TV with sponsors and other backing behind it. You know? So it's just rough, man. It's rough. And and now people are saying that, well, how can he ask Canelo or turn down 15 million and ask for a 60-40 or 50-50 split when he's pulling in these bullshit numbers? I'm not saying they're bullshit numbers. I think they're modest numbers for the quality of the fight. But when you bring Canelo and Golovkin together, you have to think about the marketing power of him along with Canelo. But, you know, the numbers is what you bring to the table to negotiate with. And when they say, well, they can be, Golden Boy could be simple as shit with it and say, well, what was Golovkin last two? How many times he been on pay-per-view? Twice. What was his last two pay-per-view numbers? Oh, let's say, for example, if Golovkin versus Lemieux was 150K. or 150K at the 153K, well then guess what? Canelo versus Smith was 300K. Double what you that shit you did, you know, and then you didn't even knock him out. You see how dirty, and shrewd they can get at the business table with this shit. Then when we fought Khan, we did almost triple what your pay-per-view did. They can break that shit down real ugly for him. But regardless, man, one thing for sure is Canelo versus Chavez is going to be a hit. I think Canelo going to get his ass beat. That's just my opinion. I think he's going to get the beat down, yo. He's just been too cool about everything, man. Everything been going too good for him. I think he's barked up the wrong tree. I think that moving up to 164.5, right? They put a half a pound catch weight. They put a half a pound. Moving up to 164.5, right? I think it just may have been too much for him. Just my personal opinion, though. But if you don't know, there's not going to be a HBO 24/7. You would think, like, why would they not pull out the HBO 24/7 for this? There's not going to be HBO 24/7. There's going to be this Mexico HBO fighter special. They are going to have an HBO face-off Max Kellerman. Remember the one with Sergio Martinez and Chavez was hilarious. That's going to be on April the 29th at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on HBO On Demand or HBO Go or HBO Now, whatever they got out there that next day. I'm kind of hyped for that. But you would think that this needed an HBO 24/7, right? This needed an HBO 24/7. Don't make no goddamn sense. Oh. Also, I want to know if they can do a little bit better with the undercard. But how do you feel? Do they really need, for one, you got Lucas Matisse who's fighting Emmanuel Transformer Taylor, his comeback fight. I understand HBO's on a budget, but it's like, I'm sure they're going to be pumping out like a lot of like YouTube and social media content. But it's like on a budget. This is a big fight. This is a super Mexican fight. And you don't have an HBO 24/7, something that's going to be around 10, 15 years from now. You see what I'm talking about? Like, remember those TV specials they used to put on for Muhammad Ali all those years back with Sugar Ray Leonard? That shit's still around on YouTube. Something like this needs like an HBO twist. Canelo versus Chavez Jr. You got the legacy. You got a father's legacy riding on his son's shoulders right now with this fight against the number one Mexican superstar of this generation. And you don't got an HBO 24/7? They smoking rock. They smoking crystal, man. HBO smoking crystal. So that's when I saw they had that Mexican legend show. I'm like, okay, that's cool and everything, but call that shit HBO 24/7 Mexican legend shit or whatever y'all gonna call it. Yeah, a lot of people are calling for Jacobs versus Lemieux, man. A lot of people are calling for it. It's going to be interesting to see where Danny Jacobs lands in the rankings. Now that he's not champion, he could be ranked by the WBC, WBA, IBF, or WBO. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where he lands, when the new rankings come out at the end of April, around the end of April. Because now, like I said, you don't want to lose the momentum of Danny Jacobs. You don't want to have him fighting guys like Caleb Truax anymore. You want to keep him on like a nice, like path that's leading him back to a title shot or a rematch with Golovkin, or to a title shot if Golovkin is not champion. So, his stock has risen. People talking about him versus Canelo, David Lemieux. You know, I think that even the Peter Quillen rematch is below him, my personal opinion. You know, you can't get no bigger, no matter how you slice it. You can't get no bigger to young fighters who grew up in the 80s and the 90s. You can't get no bigger than fighting on HBO pay-per-view in either Vegas or Madison Square Garden. He was in the Garden on HBO pay-per-view and fought a guy and put up a good performance in a close fight with a fighter that people thought that he was going to get knocked out by. Don't get me wrong, when he showed up on TMZ, he was all fucked up looking. He was all puffed up and everything. Looked like he got into a beehive. Like he got into a beehive. He was looking fucked up. Who next for Serengasi? Rungvisai. They're going to make his ass fight Roman Gonzalez again. They're going to force it. Watch. They're going to be like, no, you're not going to take that belt back to Thailand. You don't have enough political stroke. You bring your ass back over here and fight Roman Gonzalez. They're going to penalize his ass for those headbutts too. He don't got no political stroke. Let's listen to this. I'll take my last break. My tea.
Errol Spence had a lot to say already. I expected him to be a lot quieter than he was. With the Chris Algieri situation, I know you mentioned yourself that that's the best opponent he's faced, and that's nothing compared to what Kell Brook's faced in the past. Do you take anything from the fact that Pacquiao couldn't stop him? Khan couldn't stop him?
Not really. No, not really, because, you know, that's, I think, let's go right down the record, a brief look at it. Those fights with Manny Pacquiao was probably maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5. Khan was maybe 3 years ago, and then Errol Spence boxes him. So you're telling me that Chris Algieri is a better fighter now than he was 5 years ago? He's had more wear and tear. So if Manny Pacquiao's had him down 6 times, maybe that's the performance of his lifetime. You watch Miguel Cotto against Linares. He batted Linares for 12 rounds, but he survived it. We never gave him a chance. And Linares has been quite durable since. So with this Algieri that box Manny Pacquiao, it's not the same one that boxed Amir Khan, and it's certainly not the same one that boxed Errol Spence.
Yeah. Last question for now. What did you think of the Golovkin Jacobs fight?
Really fun.
This is Kell Brook's trainer.
You know, my interest, that's Kell Brook boxing Golovkin. I went really interested in that fight. But I didn't watch it the next day. I watched Jacobs. The only fight I saw him losing was once he got knocked out by the Russian guy. And, you know, you can 100% guarantee that he watched the Kell Brook Golovkin fight, and it would give him a lot of confidence because he's seen a smaller guy taking one of the most feared men on the planet 5 or 6 fights. Jacobs was actually bigger than Golovkin. He didn't do the 10-pound mandatory check weight the next day for the IBF. He wanted to restrict himself, so he put plenty of weight back on. He went up ring as big as he could. He was good on his feet. He switched, he rolled, he pulled every trick in the book, and a lot of people thought he won the fight. You know, I'm not gonna just go up and say, oh, I think he got beat. I think it was a close fight. He could have probably gone either way. Yeah. I haven't really sat down and watched it in that much detail. I was more interested in just how Jacobs dealt with that, you know, with Golovkin. But once you see the blueprint, once you see the things what Golovkin struggles with, you can work on that and work on that. So Jacobs had a bit of an insight. You know, had a bit of insight
into what to take
into that fight. You know, he's a small fighter. Looks very, very okay, in great shape. And Golovkin, you know, he's at the age to took him. He definitely has. After the fight with Kell Brook, you know, we got the damage to the eye. Kell walking down the corridor back to the changing room, Golovkin's face, he had bumps and bruises all over his head. His head was swelling. So they were talking. If you remember, they were talking before he boxed Kell. They were going to fight in September. He was that confident for an easy victory. They were going to fight in November. And after that fight, I said, "There's no way he's not going to box in November. No way. He's not going to recover in time. It'll be next year now, and it has been next year. And you know, he's showing." After 5 or 6 rounds, Golovkin was James was standing there. I started to get confident how to go with him. And at the end of the fight, they almost stood toe to toe, which nobody does.
When what I noticed, I'm thinking around 6, like you said, I started to see a shift when he was hitting him, taking them, and coming back with harder, faster shots. So,
not many people do it.
I mean, I guess, I think Golovkin, I do think that he respected Jacob's power, but I also do think that Father Time is, showing up on him, and it's natural for him to show down. It's just that slow down. It's just that now everybody's watching and they're like, well, Golovkin is not as good as people said he was. Look, see, but it's kind of hard to say, man. It's kind of hard to say. So now what I said was Danny Jacobs. Now he's got a long wait before he can get a title shot again. So I say that he tried to go after the winner of Hassan Ndam versus, I forgot who he's supposed to be fighting, and he get that WBA interim title. That way he'll secure his mandatory shot for Golovkin or that WBA title or whoever has it by sometime in late 2018 or early 2019. And maybe between then he can test the waters at 164. I mean, not 164. I'm thinking about Canelo weight at 168 pounds. But I'm gonna wrap the video up in a few. What do you think about Felix Diaz and Terrence Crawford, May the 20th, in the Prudential Center in New Jersey? I'm going. So the goal is to go to one fight a month, but to do it differently. Like I said, to make sure I like the last couple of fights I've been to, I wasn't in good health and I rushed it. Doing all this work without being properly rested. I'm going to Berto versus Porter. I'm gonna do that nice and calmly, and then I'm going to the next month, almost a month later, to Crawford versus Diaz when it's finalized. Do it nice and calmly. I'm not killing myself. A lot on my plate. But as long as there's a system, I got everything under control. As long as there's a system, I got everything under control. We be at Canelo versus Junior? No. Not ready for Vegas yet. I'm not ready to try. I'm not ready yet. I need about a few more months. I'm just getting everything stabilized, and getting my life in order after like years of turmoil. So I'm working on getting somebody to Canelo versus Chavez. But like I said, things take time. We still got some time to organize that, and we're organizing. So things take time. So right now I'm just focusing on doing my videos, getting my body in order. I'm dropping weight, and then I'm going to get back in shape again. Fix up my appearance, and just on to the world. And cover boxing. So the first thing I had to do was do videos consistently again. That's why we're getting right back in there and talking about the news. So I want to see Felix Diaz and Terrence Crawford. That's going to be on. It's supposed to be on May the 20th. We got Lomachenko versus Sosa. That's April the 8th down in Maryland. What else? We got Linares, Crolla this weekend. What else we got coming up? Let me see. We're still waiting for a date and a network for Victor Ortiz and Brandon Rios. Still waiting for a date for that. Ricardo Mayorga fight in a couple of weeks. If anybody cares about that crap. Yeah, basically, so the next real big day of boxing is going to be on April the 8th with Lomachenko versus Sosa, Usyk versus Hunter, Grostic versus Yunieski Gonzalez. Jesse Hart is going to be on that card. Then over in the UK, you have Terry Flanagan versus Peter Petrov, Liam Smith versus Liam Williams. Liam Smith versus Liam Williams, by the way. Remember, Liam Smith lost to Canelo. Now that is for the WBO interim title. So basically, the winner of that is going to be Canelo's mandatory at 154. What kind of shit is that? more political mumbo jumbo crap. April 15th, a very, very big fight between Ricky Burns and Julius Ndangu. Ndangu is going to be, Ndangu is the IBF. Ricky Burns is the only WBA. Terrence Crawford is the WBC and the WBO at 140 pounds. So basically, you only have 2 champions, right? You have 3 champions currently at 140 pounds. Julius Ndangu, Ricky Burns, both of them are fighting each other, and then Terrence Crawford. So basically, the winner between Burns versus Ndangu can fight between the winner of Crawford versus Diaz, and Terrence Crawford can be undisputed champion of the world by September, October. Isn't that crazy? So I'm going to do some more videos on that. Of course, Shawn Porter versus Andre Berto is literally less than a month away now in the Barclays Center. That's kind of crazy. You got a Avantadil, Kurt Cedes versus Tommy Langford for the WBO interim title. The interim title at 160 pounds. It's another situation why is Billy Joe Saunders not fighting? Because Kurt Cedes took some step-aside money. These are just little bits of boxing information I'm just throwing out there before I cut the video. These are little bits of boxing information. April the 29th, Joshua versus Klitschko. I'm hyped for that. I think that Klitschko is being underestimated. I'm going to start putting out more videos on that. Adonis Stevenson paid Alida Alvarez step-aside money to fight Shoni Monaghan. Adonis Stevenson just ain't been doing nothing. Ward versus Kovalev 2 supposed to be in talks, but then this past weekend, Kovalev was on social media, calling Andre Ward motherfuckers and shit. He be cursing, he curse a lot. And when he be cursing, it's mean. Kovalev is a mean person. Kovalev is a mean person. He call you like, hey, you motherfucker, bitch. Why you being bitch? Sign contract, fight me. Be on some mean shit. Oh yeah, we also got Gabriel Rosado versus Martin Murray in the bloodbath over in the UK. What's that? April the 22nd. That's gonna be a bloodbath. I'm happy for Rosado. Go over to get that UK money. It's longer than the Arab money right now. You know what pisses me off? The Khan Army. I'm going to be riding on the Khan Army for some months now. The Khan Army is a bunch of phonies. How I've been hearing for years now about, the Arabs will put up money for Khan to fight on a golden yacht with golden Lamborghinis on the yacht, and him and Pacquiao can fly in golden choppers. You Khan Army, you're a bunch of phonies. You're a bunch of phonies. Bob Arum said he came to y'all, it was like, yo, what's up with the Arab money? We want to bring Khan and Pacquiao over here. What's up? We here now. We ready. And the Arabs was like, yo, bro, we don't got the bread. Y'all mean to tell me y'all couldn't put up 10 gold-plated $8.7 million Lambos or 5 gold-plated, bulletproof with gold AKs in the trunk and a golden-plated real lion? I couldn't put up 5 of those for the fight? Yo, Arabs! Where's the Arab money? So blame the Khan Army. The Khan Army been talking all this shit for years. You been hearing all the motherfuckers when you get into an argument with them, you be like, man, Khan ain't really no draw like that over here. And they be like, yeah, but he can fight in front of the Iron Sheik and get all the money. How long we been hearing that shit? Then the time comes for, it was like, Bob Arum come with Pacquiao. Like, look, we got Pacquiao versus Khan in Dubai. Where the bread at? Where the money at? And they getting strange with the change. They're like, well, that oil, and I just got I just got a whole fleet of Aston Martins dipped in gold. I'm waiting for that oil money to come back to flip it again. You know? Make me sick, Con Army. You're a bunch of phonies, Con Army. Con Army's a bunch of phonies. That better not be true, man. I hope Kell Brook. You know, somebody was asking me, somebody messaged me, and it happened more than once. Was like, yo, where can I watch the American sex tape? It's like, sex tape? Why would you want to watch that shit? And also, word is he's spanking off. You want to watch American spank off? What is wrong with you freaks, man? The internet is filled with a bunch of freaks. That's what I noticed. That's what I noticed. There's a bunch of freaks around here. You're not tripping, man. I want to see that shit. He'd be a guy. He's a funny motherfucker, yo. Americans are funny. This is not the first time he got into some shit. Some years back, right? Some years back, true story. Some years back, right? He has sent this. He has sent these dick pics to this chick. This chick sold him to the tabloids for some bread. So this is not the first time he got into some shit. That whole family got some shit going on with them. It's some fucking pictures of some naked pictures of his brother that Khan wife got that put out somewhere or allegedly leaked somewhere. And poor old Shah Khan and whoever American mom is, it's some real family, what is it, strife, or rife, whatever you call it, going on over there. They need to fix that shit over there in the Khan family. That's probably why he always talking shit. He's a confident motherfucker, though. I was just talking about this. I was watching some of his fights a couple weeks ago. Did you notice like that he get knocked the fuck out and that he be cool? You know how people get knocked out, they go directly to the hospital. They don't be at the post-fight press conference or nothing. Amir Khan get knocked the fuck out. He be looking like up into the rafters, right? His soul be gone. His soul be gone. And then he just zoom back down. And they just push him back. Like, it's not your time yet, Khan. 4 more knockouts and you're coming to fuss. He get up. He be walking around. He do a post-fight interview and everything. He be cool. It's like, how you be getting knocked the fuck out like that and then you wake up. He don't be dizzy or nothing. He just wake up like, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm here. Oh, all right. Got knocked out. Damn. But he trying to get those big money fights, though. So now we know. Listen, he didn't get the Pacquiao fight. We know they trying to get him big money fights. You know, he was on HBO pay-per-view when he fought Canelo and got knocked out. You can see that this fight with Pacquiao is going to be on pay-per-view. So whatever fight he's going to be in is going to be a pay-per-view quality fight. He'll fuck around. Listen, he'll fuck around and fight because now, remember, he's got to one-up Spence. It's been all about one-upping each other. You see what I'm saying? So Khan, this is how it goes with it. Canelo, Khan fought Canelo. So then Brook had to fight Golovkin. So then Khan went to fight Pacquiao, and Brook was like, all right, well then you saying I won't fight my mandatory Spence, I'm scared. Brook is fighting Spence. So now Khan has got to fight somebody, you know, to top that. You see what I'm saying? So it's probably going to be like Thurman, or, you know, he probably tried to move up to fight Andre Ward or some shit. You know? I don't know. But I'm tired. It's been a good, productive show. I'm going to be back Saturday night. Yeah, I might take Saturday night off since I don't have many left, you know, with all this boxing going on. Because then the Linares fight is in the afternoon, like 5:30 or something p.m. So maybe I'm going to take that day off and maybe make some seafood for me and my pop. Maybe bowl some crabs. Who do I got? Spencer Brook. It's none of your business. Don't dabble into my affairs. It's none of your business. Crolla beats Linares? Nah, I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I don't even know if he's getting a rematch. I don't even know if he's getting a rematch. Errol says he's willing to make Loma versus Mikey. Yeah, of course he is. I believe it when I see it. Especially since we don't know who Mikey's really signed with. Is he with Richard Schaefer or is he with Al Heyman? At Mikey Garcia's fights, the ones that he's fought since not being with Bob Arum, Richard Schaefer's been sitting ringside and been very animated with his wins. But yeah, by the way, Richard Schaefer's website is up. Let's go look at it real quick before I bounce. Go look at it before I bounce. Is it Ringstar Sports or is it Ringstar? I forgot. Yeah, I thought. So yeah, also I'm waiting for more details from that $50 million tournament. So this is Richard Schaefer's Ringstar Sports. You go into his fighters. These are all the prospects that he has. You know what's crazy? I had set up an interview with this guy for Thurman. I had met him at the Thurman Garcia press conference. I was waiting to interview him, but I had to get back. I had a train to catch back to Philly. So I said, all right, well, bro, I'm going to get your information, and I'll see you at the fight tomorrow night. And sure enough, I got sick, couldn't make it to the fight. But this is Richard Schaefer's website. These are the fighters he's got signed under him. You know, go check it out, Ringstar Sports. These are fights that he's promoted. Oh, shit. And what we're doing is we're waiting for more details on that World Boxing Super Series $50 million tournament that Richard Schaefer is involved with. No, it's not Schaefer's tournament. He does have a team of people working with him. It's just that he's the chairman, or I guess United, or an American ambassador for, even though he's Swiss. But as far as American boxing is concerned, that tournament is for $50 million. It's going to feature 2 weight classes, right? We do not know what those weight classes are yet. It's going to be for 3 years, meaning it's going to be a tournament each year. The tournament is going to start in September and end in May. So there's going to be 3 fighters. The only fighters that can be involved in these 2 tournaments within these 2 weight divisions are fighters that are ranked by the top 15 of either the WBC, WBA, WBO, or IBF. I know it's a whole lot to take in, but basically, from the details, which are very limited that we have, you know, we know that it's going to be meaningful fight and meaningful tournament fighters, and also you may see championship fights in this tournament in some way, shape, form. You know, so it's a lot. It's a lot. So as time goes on, you know, I'm going to have like more details for you because I'm waiting for more details to come out. Oh, and they're going to have a draft, a televised draft in June. So of course, guys like Danny Garcia, the Sean Porters, the Andre Birch, all these guys are going to be in, or are going to be involved in, depending on what weight divisions. I'm just saying, but the point I'm trying to make is there's going to be good quality names, but also you have to think that whatever weight divisions are involved are going to have to involve weight divisions that do not have too much political shit going on. But remember, there's $50 million split between 2 weight divisions. The tournament is only from September until May. So imagine how much money that these fighters can make. So it's not known what network yet, but one network we do know for sure it will be Showtime in some way, shape, or path, or CBS Showtime in some way, shape, or capacity. So there's a lot. But yeah, what I'm gonna do is I want to eat some butter pecan ice cream. I got a couple of things to do tonight. I got like 5 more interviews to put out, I guess. in like one more video. And I'm gonna play some video games. I never get to play my video games, man. And I'm gonna treat tomorrow like a day off. Meaning like off for like you. No, I gotta do videos. I gotta do videos tomorrow. I gotta do videos. Yeah. Well, today. All right. All right, guys. Thanks for chilling with me. I'll see you guys later. Teach you controversy. Teach you controversy live.